We got a little bit of a late start. So we're going to do our introductory prayers, and then Rinpoche is going to give some mantra transmissions, which is always a wonderful thing to have. And then we'll have time just to say hello, Tasha Dele, anybody who wants to say hi to Rinpoche or has any questions are fine. And then next week, I believe, is the second Sunday, so it'll be White Tara. And then we'll go from there. We'll take it as we go. So let's get started with is it 10?
Cut off.
Huh?
Cut off.
I look cut off?
I don't know. Ask them if anybody.
Am I cut off? I don't know. I don't need to be cut in.
You were cut off. No,
yeah.
You gotta be on.
I'll lean over or something.
Here, come on.
All right.
Can I see all of you? I'll put something up about First Wednesday, which I know we haven't been doing.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So let's begin with the Heart Sutra. The Sutra of the Heart of Transcendent Knowledge. Thus have I heard, once the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha at Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a great gathering of the Sangha of monks and a great gathering of the Sangha of Bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi that expresses the Dharma called profound illumination. And at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, while practicing the profound Prajnaparamita, saw in this way. He saw the five skandhas to be empty of nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, how should a son or daughter of noble family train who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita? Addressed in this way, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, said to Venerable Shariputra, O Shariputra, a son or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita should see in this way. Seeing the five skandhas to be empty of nature. Form is emptiness, emptiness also is form. Emptiness is no other than form is no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness are emptiness. Thus, Shariputra, all dharmas are emptiness. There are no characteristics. There is no birth and no cessation. There is no impurity and no purity. There is no decrease, no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no dharmas, no eye, dhatu, up to no mind, dhatu, no dhatu of dharmas, no mind consciousness, dhatu, no ignorance, no end of ignorance, up to old age and death, no end of old age and death, no suffering, no origin of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since the Bodhisattvas have no attainment, they abide by means of Prajnaparamita. Since there is no obscuration of mind, there is no fear. They transcend falsity and attain complete nirvana. All the Buddhas of the three times, by means of Prajnaparamita, fully awaken to unsurpassable, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the great mantra of Prajnaparamita, the mantra of great insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequal mantra, the mantra that calms all suffering, should be known as truth, since there is no deception. The Prajnaparamita mantra is said in this way: Teata om gate gate paragate parasangate Bodhisoha. Thus, Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound Prajnaparamita. Then the Blessed One arose from that Samadhi and praised noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, saying, Good, O son of noble family, thus it is, O son of noble family, thus it is. One should practice the profound Prajnaparamita just as you have taught, and all the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Venerable Shariputra and noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, the whole assembly in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas rejoiced and praised the words of the Blessed One. Galanya mene don ambane neje de jeng ai de do jen de ba la ai bu yin de ne dong an ro de la da se or man Agasamara de Janara Samara me de ata on gate gate paragate parasangati bodizo baba ganjo zani ga de me doje je baba doji baba doji doji ragi baji me de be doji je dingo ye zo ge rin don ja je je wa da me don be je don je wa da don ba don je bon zon jo ji da ji de jan de na de le The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun, and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. Holy Lamas high, wrap the sky of your Dharma bodies in massive clouds of knowledge and love, and let them pour upon the earth of your disciples as we are ready, a shower of rain, the teachings deep and wide. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. Idam Guru Rana Mandala Gam Niradayami. Yadam Zoji Jadam La Janjo Bado Dani Jazo Dagi Chinye Jibe Zanani Jala Benje Zanje Dubazo Yadam Zoji Jadam La Janjo Bado Dani Jazo Dagi Chinye Jibe Zanani Jala Benje Zanje Dubazo Yadan Zoji Jana La Yanjo Badu Dani Jazoji Dagi Chinye Jipe Sananje Jala Benje Zanye Rubajo. Okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you everybody for coming. Happy Easter. You see me fiddling around. There's dogs all under here that are moving around and that are distracting me and barking and stuff during the Heart Sutra. So I'm easily distracted without the dogs. So, you know, you add that kind of stimulation into the picture and my mind just kind of goes all over the place. So today Rinpoche was going to do some of the mantra transmissions that many people have had before, but he said it'd be good to Gigi's here. Hold on one moment. I think we have a visitor. Out. Yes. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Come on.
Good girl. Good girls. Gigi, Laura's daughter, came home. So the dogs now are going to go berserk. So I apologize if there's some noise. So Rinpoche said it'd be good to give the mantra transmissions again that we have in our prayer book. And then also maybe talk a little bit about method and wisdom and how it relates to the path. So that's what we have planned. And let me just find the page in the prayer book that has the mantras. And we will do those. Okay, so the first mantra will be Buddha Shakyamuni. The second, so I'm just trying to think how we can do this. Tambo nge de shacha tupa zonga, dene zonga loma, dene nga de panusam baba zong, dene yabudue. Okay. So the first mantra that Rinpoche will be giving the transmission of, oh look, the David Chupabu, Metu. Yeah, we'll do. So the first, see how distractible I am? I saw some flowers on the camera and it was just, there it is. Yeah, the offering of flowers. I told Rinpoche there was an offering. So Guru Shakyamuni will be the first mantra Rinpoche will give the transmission of.
다도 샤샤는 보다 우송하게 뭐지 롱도 쉬기 대다 오면은 마음을 내서 대다 오면은 마음을 내서 대다 오면은 마음을 내서 오마 아오 메자고 마스도
This is, the next one is Padmasambhava's mantra.
오마 아오 메자고 마스도
Now Lama Tsongkhapa's mantra, Mimiza, Nzema.
매매 지신신
Lama
지면
Tsongkhapa's
오버
mantra.
잡아요. 이거 몰래는 세상에다 같이 그 소소소 소소 잡으셔서 소화돼. 오만을 배면 오만을 배면 오만을 배면 오만을 배면
Chenrezig.
오만을 온다를 들어서 온다를 들어서 온다를 들어서 온중소 오만다 나도 온중소 오만다 나도
Om Amitayas, Sepame. Omaran Zai Dai Soha. Om Amaran Zai.
오만은 나한테
This is Amitayas' mantra.
오만은 나한테 좋아.
Manjushri.
오마라바서 나데 오마라바서 나데 오마라바서 나데 오마라바서 나데
Mela. Medicine Buddha.
대야도 배가 마음 배가 나는 사명을 대야도 배가 마음 배가 나는 사명을 돼서 편하게 지나도 도지내라 요늘에는 뭐지 사주는 오다 되네 간수 주의나 편하게 지나도 나서
Dojeden.
아
Bodhigaya.
도지내
So I received the Medicine Buddha initiation from Ling Rinpoche in Bodh Gaya when he was giving the 3 deities initiation, Medicine Buddha, this Sombogare, Plasom Dang, Mela Dangare.
아
There was a 3rd initiation,
나제마
and Namgyal Monastery, in Namgyal Monastery. So by doing these mantras, it's of great benefit. So Rinpoche just gave the mantra of Namgyalma as well. So the Benzapani, Vajrapani, Shana Dorje. And that is the mantra of Vajrapani. The Shana Dorje Long Kona, Shana Dorje Glason. So that is the Garuda Vajrapani and Haryagriva mantra. It's the 3 deities mantra. The top guard, the Yanjasurama. Oh, that's it. Less so. So when we look at mantra recitation, we look at the 2 categories of method and wisdom. What category does this fall under? It falls under method. And how do we know that it falls under method? It's because it becomes the cause of the form body of the Buddha. And that which is the cause of the form body of the Buddha is necessarily method. So we see, then they share up Gare. Tony. So then when we look at what wisdom is, it's the wisdom realizing emptiness, the wisdom realizing impermanence. This is what we would find in the category of wisdom. Then the tatan share up nyamdu kandregon, the lagon, the la tombani, the zoma dan nyamdu tutuna, tudue. So when you do the meditation deity yoga or meditation on the deity, that visualization itself is method. But when you then meditate upon the lack of true establishment of that deity, then that is wisdom. So that when you're doing deity yoga, the actual visualization of the deity itself is the method, but the emptiness of that deity is the wisdom. And that's how you have that union of the 2 when you're doing deity yoga.
this.
So by doing the white Tara mantra, you'll be able to increase your lifespan, make your life longer. By the white Tara mantra. These. Does anybody have any questions or anything? Or anything that you would like Rinpoche to explain? He said, what would you like to know? Or what, something like this. What should I explain? So does anybody have anything they would like explained that obviously is explainable within the context of this question and answer session? Don't ask me about the completion stage of the Amantaka practice because I'm not qualified for that. Actually, there's someone who was at Brian was actually, weren't you at that first Yamantaka initiation? Were you part of that whole thing at Namgyal or no? Yes, right? No. Bob was. Maybe not.
Unmute. Okay. No, I was at the first teaching at Namgyal and the second teaching of Rinpoche at Namgyal, 1996.
Amazing.
And 1997, but then he did a Yamantaka the year after, I think, and I wasn't able to come. So I got the Yamantaka from Jaido Rinpoche at Namgyal, Ithaca.
Oh, Shadow, yes. He was the abbot. Wasn't Shadow Rinpoche the abbot after Rinpoche, or was there one between? Chiron the Namgyal Kempo, then they Shadow Rinpoche. Yeah, Shadow Rinpoche is very nice. When we were in Indiana at the Kala Chakra initiation, he was there. We have lots of pictures with him, and he's just a great Lama. It was fun, really fun to be around. Very, very, very incredible scholar, but also able to connect with people very well in a joking kind of manner. Yeah, I appreciated Shadow Rinpoche.
And we were at a retreat out in the woods. It was Namgyal retreat, and he did a full retreat, a week retreat with him. I don't remember the year. Yeah,
wonderful. Yeah, you can see how long a lot of students have been with Rinpoche. I mean, we're talking well over 20 years, Brian. And I think it was 98 he came to our center. So anyone, who's around that time, it's just a lot of years we've had the opportunity to spend with such a realized being that it's just like the rarest thing in the world. And sometimes it's easy to take for granted, but we shouldn't. Okay, questions? Thank you, Brian, for sharing that. I think it's always nice for us to kind of, as a community, know who each other are. And Brian gave Rinpoche all his medicine for years. I mean, we didn't have Medicare, Medicaid. We didn't have that. We had Mark Maselli, who was the head of the community health center, who said, just send me the bills. And we never paid for anything. And then we had Brian sending us all of the oral diabetes medication at the time. So yeah, it's taken a lot of community. And then of course, Ted took over and just made everything like in categories and got everything in a very organized fashion around Rinpoche's care. So it's just really taken a large community to make sure that it maintains and is sustained. I just want to thank everybody for allowing that to happen. Yes, Alessandra.
First, I want to thank you, everyone who puts so much effort into making sure that Rinpoche is taken care of and we can continue with these teachings. I can't even imagine what goes into making sure that he and you and everyone is prepared for it. So thank you. But I wanted to ask, is there ever a time or a place when a silent mantra is not the best approach?
Meaning saying it out loud? What do you mean by that? Give me an example. So the best approach
So if I'm in the grocery store and I'm struggling with my own issues of whatever is going on with me in the grocery store, silently in my head, focusing on a mantra and repeating it.
Okay. Then kon sam chela sapo sansan. Then kon the mango da yere. Then they kon the maka the nangla zonla dangla. Pen togu do it. the Sam, the Shewa, Shagarbe, Pentobudur. So yeah, maybe it is beneficial. I asked if it would calm the mind, maybe make the mind more peaceful. He said, pitchy injury, which is, yeah, probably. So, so yes, anything to kind of focus the mind back on something spiritual, as opposed to our monkey mind, right? Our crazy monkey mind that runs all over the place is probably any way we can harness it. And then if we can harness it to something that's spiritually powerful, like a mantra, then, you know, we're also purifying at the same time as harnessing. So maybe it has a dual benefit.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'm really glad that we ended up having class. We were like maybe 5 minutes from canceling, and then we just said we're gonna do it. Just because a few things ran late. Rinpoche was on the phone with Tibet all night last night. I think that everyone in Tibet he may have spoken with. so when that happens, sometimes, you know, it's a late night, and then 3 o'clock was time to get up today. So yeah, we made toast at 3. So you never know what's going to happen. So anyone else have any questions?
I had a question, Jeff. About...
Yeah, we're here. It's Easter.
Yeah.
I tried to explain Jesus's rising last night. I tried to give, I don't know. I don't think he was really like, he was like, I don't know. But then we have a lot of, I don't know. So we'll just leave it at that. You know, I think we all have a good collection of, really? Flowers coming from the sky. Really? Anyway, you know, that's my favorite example of things that I have lack of faith in. Come on, up, anybody.
So, the significance of the deity and the mantra of Namgyal Monastery.
The white umbrella deity. I know very little about it, so this may be hard for me. I may Namgyal, the Dondagare, the white umbrella, the Dondagare. Namgyal la the Sanjayin. So it's a long Namgyal, the white umbrella deity, is a long life Buddha. So I said, is Namgyal Buddha? He said yes, and then he said Namgyal is a long life deity. Just like Tara is a long life deity, Namgyal is another example of a Buddha that's a long life deity that you can get an initiation into and do the mantras of in the same way you could Chenrezig or any of the other deities.
Thank you.
I actually received the initiation in Dharamsala, right? We get done with it, and I ask everyone what the mantra is. No one knows. I'm literally asked like 75 people. I'm like, we just did the white umbrella deity. No one knew anything about it. No one knew the mantra. So I didn't ask the right people, clearly, but it was just ironic that I have this initiation that when you brought it up, I was like, oh boy, oops. Thank you, Brian. Anything else?
Thank you.
I think Melinda or Lobsang had a question.
It's Melinda. So just regarding saying mantras, I was thinking about what Alexandra said, and I was wondering, so if I have my mala or don't have it, and I'm reciting a mantra, what is the difference between saying like Om Mani Padme in my mind and actually uttering it with my lips? Does that mean you're using your speech and mind when you say it out loud? Or is it just as significant to say it without uttering it out loud slightly?
Yeah, it's a great question. Kontriwa the zonga no. Ngatsu the makana the ke kana nala the sem gewa saudu. Yomare the longa yi sung. Then the yi the gewa saudu. Then ngatsu the geche shena zonga lana. The nga gewa saudu nicha saudu. Then the lana penba mo ribe
基本
chipa. Then the zonga lana the garipento do the hla anja godu magenta anja garipento garishine the dark part the dam.
当时是各种人嘞，就是상지 공부 또 비슷해 나 저요나 상지 공부 또 유저야 그래 된도 대상 또 체도 메이나 된도 대상 또 유저스
Then the zonga malana gewa chipa the yi sanodan
이 그거요.
yine the nga gewa lana nga gewa dan salo nicha yuna nga gewa dan yi gewa yo maribe nika then de sona mo.
이제
Okay, all right, we just work through it a little bit. So when we do recitation of mantras, when we're doing the mental recitation, we're accumulating virtue, merit of our mind, mental, body, speech, and mind. So we're accumulating it through our mind. If we're reciting it and thinking about the mantra simultaneously, so if we're reciting it and then we're holding something with the mind, then we're then not only accumulating virtue of the mind, but also of the speech. So I asked Rinpoche if there was added merit by doing both. He said yes, yes. And then he said that whatever, it depends on one's individual motivation in terms of what the mantras produce. So he said that if you are doing the mantras in order to become a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings, then that will be what the mantras produce. If you're doing it to be born into the higher realms, then that will be what the mantras produce. So the motivation of the practitioner is very important. And one other thing that I've heard, and I asked Rinpoche about, and he didn't really speak on it, so I want to be clear on that, but that when you're reciting it out loud, if you imagine that all sentient beings can hear it, or you imagine that other non-visible beings can hear you reciting the prayers, then you're also accumulating more merit in terms of your relationship to sentient beings. So I don't know if is that helpful?
Oh, it's extremely helpful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Jeff so much for keeping the Dharma alive for all of us for so many years, and that you're continuing to do it. Thank you so much.
I always wish there was someone more qualified to do it, but it just never happened. Yes, David.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Rinpoche. Thank you so much for the teaching and the transmission of the mantras this morning.
Get you.
My question is, mantra recitation, is it more powerful within the sadhana, or is it okay to do it just kind of, like while you're driving, for example, or is it more potent on the cushion per se?
The Rinpoche, sonam desko. So zonga dana, zonga chipo dana, becha nyamdu yom, gangisana becha kashe the tendru the la nejo ru, the zonga dana yore. Then this zonga dana, becha mena zonga dana, gewa chipa. The gangisana kongi chiwa matsu mota dan. Sansan zonga dang. Yene sansan matsu suso kamba the den deudu konja the zonga dang. Nicha pembudo, nicha gewa chipa. So Rinpoche is saying there's no difference in the mantra recitation, the power, in terms of doing it solely. I asked him in a car, reciting in a car, or if you're doing it in terms of in a 6-session Guru Yoga text. For instance, where you have the mantras and so forth. So he said that there is, it's the same virtue doing it. Now, of course, there's a lot of factors, right? It depends on if you're totally distracted or not distracted. I would debate. I'm willing to start that debate right now. Like the more focused you could be, right? The more, but maybe you're training your mind better in the car. I don't know. So that was the answer. The answer was, Rinpoche's answer is there's no difference in virtue. Then the motor dan zonga, then ngatsu the sola kandro zonga dan gewa chipa. I asked him if he's in the car or in the temple reciting mantras, if it's different. He said it's the same.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff, I had another question. That's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Rinpoche, if we see animals that have died or are dying and we cannot help them in any other way, or they've already died, is there a particular mantra that we could say for that being? And
the sentient, shina, the ruyana, the Khensur denden shigare sanodana, the zonga gare pentodu.
다 zonga what wrote the pujana. Could shaking the general chair.
Then zonga gariana diggerbe. Chair. So it is said that if you blow the mantras on the corpse of a being, that being will automatically be elevated to the higher realms. So, and I asked him if any specific mantra, because we've seen saying medicine Buddha 7 times, and he said doesn't matter, blow any mantras.
Okay, thank you.
So there's a lot of untangling of a lot of stuff that's going on over here. I just have to say, I got to tell a little story. I think it's interesting. So we got a phone call from Philly. They had a question about Tara. And if anybody knows about Rinpoche, they know that he's focused his entire life on philosophy, and ritual was had to be part of it, but that was not his focus. So we get a call and they say, why does white Tara have 7 eyes? Hands, 2 hands, 2 feet, here. So I go in, I go to the library, I start tearing my library apart first, because I'm curious. And then I just, I always like to check, cut and rub. That's how I am. So I start checking it out. And then I come to Rinpoche to ask him. And I say to him, why does Tara have 7 eyes? What's the reason? And he paused, and I was waiting for something. And I said, Lobsang Tenzin is called, and asked. And I said, what should I say? What text? Where is it? And he paused and he looked right at me and he said, ask Lobsang why he has 2 legs. He said, it takes omniscience to know exactly why karma produces exactly what it is. And then we started to joke and say, sometimes they just write, well, yeah, it's the 7. So the answer is, it's the 7 noble qualities. But, so then we started debating. Tara only has 7. She doesn't have 8 noble qualities. She doesn't have 160 noble qualities. So I guess the point is that some things just go right down to the basics. And it doesn't have to be so complicated all the time. The 6 perfections and refuge, it seems to be a real emphasis around here. Emptiness, because things are not truly established because they dependently originate, seems to be the answer around here these days. And after being students for so long, I think it's important that we can also kind of see how a practitioner, I remember Lobsang talking about, when you're first starting, you have all these toys, you have bells and you have things, you have butter lamps and you have all of that. But eventually it's just practice. And those things are just tools to get you to the practice. And I wanted to share that with you. And then the jokes started. Oh, it's the 7-point cause and effect it signifies. No, it's this. And then Lich chimed in, maybe 7 Steps to Heaven by Miles Davis. But Buddhists don't have heaven, really. So, we're not sure if that one flies. Anyone else?
Priscilla has a question.
Sure, Priscilla. So why we become exactly what we become and experience what we experience is extremely hidden phenomenon. There's Kujor and Shinto Kujor. And all of those factors of exactly why Tara has 7 eyes on her hands and all, that becomes something that's only an omniscient being. Rinpoche said we would have to ask Tara, who's omniscient. So, interesting. But the text answer that's in maybe a commentary of a Sakya Lama is that it's the 7 noble qualities. So,
I have 2 questions.
Priscilla, yes. Yes.
Hi, good morning, and thank you, Rinpoche. I'd like to know about the Palden Lama mantra for protection and the value of that, and if having that as part of practice. That's the first question. And then the second one is, there are many of us that are actually in physical transition from one living situation to another. And are there mantras or practices or various different kinds of blessings for leaving one place and for blessing another place, consecrating another place, or whatever one might call it?
Rinpoche, the Triwa Tambo, the Palden Lama Triwa. The Palden Lama, the Suma yin. Then the Suma, Palden Lama, the Zonga Dana, Suma Pentodu, Natsu Ropache, Ropache Gure. The Palden Lama, the Droma yin, Droman Trupa, So yes, by Palden Lama is a protective deity who is the emanation, the wrathful emanation of Tara. So we have a very strong connection to Tara. So I asked Rinpoche if by relying on Palden Lama and reciting the mantras, if it would help us. And he said yes. Got it. Okay, so Rinpoche will give the transmission of Palden Lama mantra right now.
Thank you.
So I have that transmission of the mantra from the Dalai Lama. And that's the transmission of the Palden Lama mantra. And the second question, Triwa Nipa, Kung Kamba Sarpa Ragare. Then Kamba Nipa, the Yushuna Kamba Sarpa Rana, Shelap Gariakshu, Kandun Gariakshu, Gari Pemudu, Barche Ka Garia. So Rinpoche said the best reliance, the best prayer to use from changing, I said, leaving an old house, going into a new, what's the best way to bless it? What prayers are good? And he said Tara. So by reciting the mantra of Tara, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha. Okay, I guess there's a written question as well. Hold on one second. Does that answer everything, Priscilla?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. There's a written question. Oh, in the chat? Yes. Is it in chat?
It's in chat.
Okay.
I can read it to you.
Okay, so the question is, it's my understanding that the value of a long life is the potential to practice the path longer without interruption. If prayers for a long life are rewarded with a long life that karmically involves a feebleness of mind that makes practice functionally impossible, is there still a way for one to properly dedicate the blessing to the path? The say rimbo wong, the drama wong, say rimbo. Yine say rimbo yuna Sam Chela Sapo Pambudo. Gangisena de Natsu Lo Mambo Chishena de Migewa Saudu. Chishena de Lo Nga Yisu Migewa Sagare, Gangisena Natsu Chela Sapo. The nay de Natsu de say rimbo yuna. Sansan the Pemu Yomar. The Cheran Sano Garibe, Cheran Gutsu. Then Lacha Yurube. Gangisena de nga the wong, na. Then say rimbo yuna, gewa matsana pembio mare, then contriwade. Then the molanja, then gari. So there's a lot of hypotheticals within that. Rinpoche is not great with hypotheticals. He's really, so I explained to him the best I could. Let's see where we end up. So I said, if you take a white Tara long life initiation, you have a longer life. Could it perhaps not be a good thing to have a longer life because you have more time to accumulate non-virtue through your body, speech, and mind, and then you've created a longer amount of time of non-virtue. So that's where I'm at with the question at this point with Rinpoche. And then Gangesina me kashe sem shira chela sabudu the sem the kale habudu. Then the say rimbo yona gari pembudu Rinpoche.
So then the children
Nuba.
to Mumbaragro.
So Rinpoche said, if you have a long life, you have a lot of time to practice religion, to practice Dharma. So you have a lot of time. So, you know, yeah, so that's what Rinpoche said. You have a lot of time to practice. Then the Kalikana, the Molanja Pentodo. The Molanja, the say de, ni say Rimbo you, yene nga longa yisum gewa mambo, me gewa mambo sa, yene nga the deeper shot on dra, gosh. So so the best thing that would be to utilize is the confession, the acknowledgement of downfalls. If you and then finding time in some way to practice. So I feel like if you've made it to a white Tara initiation, I feel like if you've made it to that, then maybe like your interest in other, maybe other virtuous things. I mean, if you look at beginningless lives, we say so clung to this one life. But if we look at beginningless lives, if we can just put a few drops in buckets, we know that they'll stay until we're a Buddha, right? Every virtue that we have, anything that we can get, if we dedicate it properly, we're doing something we may not have done with a lot of our virtues before, because here we are as humans, we're not Buddhas. So our virtues have been used up being this human person. So we've done a lot of good things that have not produced Buddhahood. So when we dedicate it properly, like you're saying, dedicate the blessing to the path, then those acts that are good do become causes for that enlightenment. So yeah, that's correct. Okay, so we're going to end here. Unless there's anything pressing that I missed, I don't think there is. Thank you all for coming on Easter Sunday. I hope the Easter Bunny visited you. We didn't have an Easter Bunny here. Okay, so concluding mandal offering dedication prayer. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flour, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun, and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I've collected for the benefit of the teachings of all sentient beings, and particularly the essential teachings of Venerable Losang Drakpa to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well. With whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the 3 times, I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land, surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness, all-powerful Avalokiteshvara Tenzin Gyatso may stay until samsara's end. I pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Wandak, upholder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, spiritual friend who trained extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts with exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Suji Rinpoche Guchi Shapi Degala. And I want to say thank you, Kate, also.